I wanted to get out here early today before our hunt just to get familiar with the LCS and dial it in. I've got a target out here at 100 yards, so I'm going to zero it. And I've brought not only some JSB pellets, but I brought some Nielsen specialty ammo slugs that I wanted to try out. I wanted to play with the power adjuster and just really try and learn a little more about this rifle. To load the LCS, I first want to make sure that both safeties are on, this one in the back and then this one in the front. And what I'm going to do is just pull up this bar, and that will unlock the magazine. And then on the other side here, it's got this little flap that just covers that. And now we'll be able to turn this cylinder in a clockwise direction, and we can load the pellets. Now, one thing to note about this magazine is it actually has a slight amount of, it's almost like rifling inside here, and it's very fine, and they've told me that that actually will not only help keep the pellets in place, but it actually acts as kind of a rifling, so it will direct the pellet into the barrel itself. Kind of unique, I've never really seen that. It takes a little while to load this, 19 rounds, but you can get to 3 at a time and then you'll just turn it down to the next. Pretty easy to load. Once the magazine is fully loaded, just close this, and then on the other side we'll just make sure this bar is down and the gun is ready to go. Right now I'm just testing the velocity on this gun. I wanted to see how fast the JSBs are going, and I want to see how fast the slugs are going, and I want to kind of see how far you're able to adjust it. Turning this out is going to bring the power all the way up. Turning it in is going to bring the power down. So I believe probably all this is just a restrictor for the port, and definitely a nice feature to be able to really fine-tune the rifle for what we're shooting. So I'm going to fill the gun and kind of do some testing. So the 25 grain JSBs on high power are averaging 1,029 feet per second. So this gun definitely has some power. Right now I'm just going to test the accuracy and kind of adjust it as needed. Here's 19 shots, 100 yards with the 25 grain JSBs, 1,029 feet per second. I tested them at lower velocities and they were about the same, and so I just kept it at high power. I'm pretty impressed with this. I didn't hold off for the wind at all, and this definitely reflects the wind coming from right to left. And so I'm really happy with this group. I'm going to head back. We're going to set up the gun for slugs. I'm going to put another target on here and we'll check those. I've been reading on the forums and I noticed a few people were complaining about the trigger. They were saying how it's really long. I actually really like this trigger. It does have a bit of a long first stage, but I found it to be pretty crisp, pretty smooth, very predictable. It's not like you have to guess when it's going to go off, and it's not heavy at all. If anything, I think it's kind of like a perfect balance between what you'd use from the bench and out in the field. So for me, this trigger is ideal. Take a couple shots here and I'll show you guys what I mean. There's just the first stage. You can see that's the first stage. So it's not bad. There's 19 shots at 100 yards using the 33 grain NSA slugs going 905 feet per second. I'm really happy with this. This isn't 5 shots, 10 shots, this is 19 shots at 100 yards. I think the fact that the LCS has a choked barrel really kind of makes it suited to shooting Diablo style pellets. I think without the choke, I think these would probably tighten up. But being able to shoot pellets and slugs is awesome. This gun is doing really well at 100 yards with both pellets and slugs. I was really happy I had the chance to get out here this morning and test the gun at longer ranges and just kind of see how everything functions. Now, I did discuss the regulator with the manufacturer themselves, and I asked them a lot of questions. I asked them, is this gun really made for somebody that wants to tinker? And they said yes, but they would kind of discourage messing with the regulator. I know the regulator, they said, is very sensitive to which direction you're going with it. At the higher pressures, it causes problems with the seals and the gun can malfunction. So they told me, they don't like people messing with the regulator, and to be honest, there's really no reason for it. This gun can shoot 33 grain slugs at 900 feet per second, and it shoots, the lighter weight stuff at over 1,000. So you really don't need much more power. I know my good friend Claudio from Patagonia Airguns has modified his to get 130 foot-pounds, but he's done quite a bit of work to it. They've managed to keep this very efficient with air. I will say the report of it is pretty loud. I'm gonna pull this this shroud off and we'll check out how loud it is without the shroud as opposed with it. And make sure the gun is on safe. And this comes off pretty easy. Just unscrews. This actually is free floating, and it just kind of makes the barrel a little stiffer. And this just pulls off, and I'm going to shoot it with without this, and we'll see how loud it is. This gun is very loud without the shroud and moderator on here, so this definitely works. I'm going to put this back on and we'll shoot it again. I really like the balance of the LCS. It shoulders really well. Just has a really nice balance. Definitely a compact gun. Nice and short, pretty easy to carry around. And it just shoulders very well. And I like the fact that I can move my scope forward and back. There's plenty of rail on the top. And just shoots off hand beautifully. One of the things I really like about the LCS is it's got a really long bottom rail here, and so I've got plenty of room to be able to adjust my bipod. I've got the AccuTac on here and it seems to work very well from the prone position. I usually like having my bipod more towards the front. I know some guys like them back here, but I think the gun seems to be a little more stable with it forward. We're going to spend a couple days here, do some hunting, do some camping, and just have some fun with the gun. The weather is a bit cold, and so I'm not expecting a lot of activity with the animals, but it is a beautiful place to hike around, and so I'm sure we'll have some fun. Well guys, this is going to be our camp for the night. Temperatures are supposed to get pretty cold. Right now it's about 43 degrees, so tonight it should get pretty cold. Luckily I brought a lot of blankets and we can have a fire, and so I'm hoping it's not going to be too bad. We're going to head out in a little bit, try and get some rabbits, and we'll check back in. Awesome. Right now Marley and I are going to head down this little path here, and it kind of runs parallel with a creek bed, and usually there's some activity with jackrabbits out in here, and I've actually even seen some coyotes. So we're just going to make our way down here a couple miles and see if we can get anything. I stopped here and I've spotted a couple jackrabbits out here in front of me. This is a good time of day to spot them because the sun is coming towards me and I'm able to see their amber ears, and so they kind of stick out. The key is really just to try and get close and to get a good enough shot out in the open, because there's a lot of dense vegetation here, a lot of sagebrush. A lot of times you'll take a shot and your pellet gets deflected by a branch, and so visibility is really difficult, but hopefully we can sneak up on one. Awesome. Good girl. Got it. Awesome, got this giant at 142 yards. Went right in the shoulder and came right out the neck, and I think I hit him again because there's a hole right here in his hind leg, and he moved about 10 feet to the right and collapsed where Marley was able to recover him in a bush. Super far shot, you guys can see from the scope cam. Hopefully I was able to capture it clearly enough. Just an awesome place to hunt. I'm really happy that the sun was out today and it's a little warmer, so I think there are some animals moving around. But usually when it's colder like this, the hunting becomes really difficult. The animals just aren't as active. The LCS is definitely one of my favorite guns I've reviewed. It's got a ton of power. It shoots offhand really well. And the firing cycle is perfect in semi-auto. Now, using this in full auto mode, I think is more of like a novelty for, you know, plinking and playing around at the range, but for hunting applications, I think the semi-auto is perfect for that. You're just going to go through too much ammo and air on full auto. I dropped the 25 grain right onto him. I could actually see it in flight. Perfect flight path, and we do have a little bit of breeze here, so I fortunately didn't have to hold off for too much. Awesome, really happy with this. We're going to get back through here, see if we can find some more, and we'll check back in. I've been carrying the LCS around for a couple hours, and I gotta say it's pretty enjoyable to carry. Short, compact. I haven't had any problems with it snagging on anything. I think if it was mine, I would put a single point sling on it, and probably walking around I probably wouldn't have the bipod. It'd lighten it up a little bit. I need it for being able to set the gun down for when I'm setting up the camera, and sometimes it's nice to have it to shoot in the prone position. Although if I had a single point sling, I would probably just keep the bipod in my backpack. Marley and I are going to continue our big loop around here. We're about 2 miles from camp, and so I'm kind of hoping that being evening, we're going to possibly get another jackrabbit. I was really happy we were able to get one today. We made it back to camp. I didn't really see anything else. I'm going to use my time now to collect some firewood and just situate the camp for the night just so I can be comfortable. And I'm going to clean that jackrabbit. We're going to cook that later once I get a fire going. I went and pulled out one of my pans and realized that I had not cleaned it from my last trip. Big mistake. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of water in here and clean it out. Just put a little bit of sand in here. Just mix it around just to loosen up whatever else is in here. It's almost like sandpaper. Put a little bit more water in here. Slosh it around, and then I got a towel up there. I'm just going to dry it out. Had to learn things like this just from being out, and out of necessity. You just learn this stuff. But it works. I threw a stone in the fire just to have a flat spot for the pan to sit on. I'm going to let this boil for about 15-20 minutes. The meat should just fall right off the bone, and then we'll strain it. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any salt and pepper or any kind of spices. If I was going to prepare this at home, I'd throw it in a crock pot with some carrots and potatoes and some spices, and just let it sit in the crock pot for about 6 hours. And just an amazing meal. A lot of people don't think you can eat jackrabbit, but it really isn't. It's not much different than cottontail, in my opinion. It's just a lot leaner. It's boiled for about 15 minutes now, and I don't want to just flip it over. I'm going to leave it on here for just a few more minutes. As you can see, I got some meat. I gave some to Marley. Right now I'm going to make some macaroni and cheese to go along with this, and we'll have dinner. What I did is I mixed the jackrabbit in with the mac and cheese, and it's not bad. Definitely nice having something hot on such a cold night. I moved the tent a little closer to the fire. Got some warmth coming in here. Marley's already asleep. I'm going to hit the sack, and we're going to get up pretty early and see if we can have some luck in the morning. We'll see you then. Good morning, you guys. Man, it was cold last night. I actually got up probably about 2-3 o'clock in the morning and put some more wood on the fire. It was brutal. It was definitely colder than it was a couple of weeks ago when I was camping in like 2 feet of snow. The plan for today is just to kind of wait till the sun comes up over this hill, and then Marley and I will hike away from camp and see if we can get some more rabbits. Hopefully it'll warm up a little once the sun comes over the rise here. Marley and I decided to come up a little bit higher, have a really good view of the valley floor. You can see up over the sagebrush. A lot of times it's really good to get up high like this. Gives you a better perspective of the environment. Luckily, this area is closed off to vehicles, and so it really limits people's access unless you're really willing to hike back in here. A lot of times places get hunted out by other hunters, or there's just too much activity and the animals just kind of stay away from that area. So I'm hoping that we can at least spot a couple of rabbits back in here. Well guys, I had a lot of fun these past 2 days. Got to shoot the gun at various ranges, test out slugs and pellets, and was able to get a good sized jackrabbit at 142 yards. We had a nice dinner last night. My overall impression of the LCS is it's probably one of the most innovative rifles we've seen in about 5 years. A lot of work has been put into this rifle, very good quality, seems to be very durable, and everything on it functioned very well for me. I really like the fact that you can really adjust the power on the fly, and it's got plenty of it. It's fairly quiet considering how much power it puts out. It's got a great shot count, pretty easy to load, and just the overall performance of it is pretty much unlike anything I've seen. We're going to head back to the shop and we'll talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about the rifle. We'll see you then. I was really happy I got to get out with the LCS. The goal was just to get it out, show you guys as much as I could, and show the rifle's capabilities under real field conditions. I was really happy with being able to get a jackrabbit at such a long distance. Had a great time camping. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage. I really think this is probably the most innovative rifle that we've seen in probably about 5 years, and definitely gun of the year in my opinion. Just so innovative. They've done a lot of work to this gun, and I look forward to doing some more videos with it. I want to do some more technical reviews on this rifle and really kind of get it out in the field and kind of try and tune it for various ammo. I was impressed that it was able to shoot slugs as well as it did at 100 yards. Out of the box, the LCS has amazing performance. Really the only thing that I can think of changing on this gun is maybe just to shorten up the length of pull on the trigger. But after a day of field use, I really got used to it and really didn't bother me at all. I really want to thank Airguns of Arizona for sponsoring me to get out in the field and be able to show you guys this review. I plan on doing some more videos with this gun. You guys can help me out by subscribing to the channel, and if you guys are more interested in this gun, you guys can visit my website at mountainsportairguns.com, and I'm going to have the full written review of this gun along with all the links to the products that we used. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you soon.